Teddy Riley, Babyface Edmonds, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm flustered because this is everything that I have ever grown up with, have lived with, continue to live with. I want to jump straight into talking about what happened the other night. First of all, it's thank you. You know, everyone's sitting at home. We're trying to find ways to connect. We're trying to find ways to, create a semblance of normal life. You broke Instagram in a way that it had never been broken before, having a versus battle. Is how did you even begin to think of doing this together? Who started the conversation and how did it come to be?
Well, I seen it on Instagram. Timberland was talking to Swiss, and the conversation kind of began of with LA and Babyface with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and they were like saying, "Nah, that can't happen. I don't think Jam and Lewis would be down for it. Maybe, maybe Babyface in LA." So when they said that, somebody sent a message and they said, how about Teddy Riley battling Babyface or Teddy Riley battling Babyface in LA? And that was the last I seen of it. And then I get a call. So that's
So,
you got.
so when I heard about it, um, I didn't say I didn't know about it to that extent, and and the whole idea of battling, I wasn't necessarily for it. Just a battle, period.
Yeah.
And I didn't go battle Teddy to begin with, and
Yeah.
and and it was it's L.A. and Babyface because a lot of the stuff we did, I did it with L.A. So it didn't seem right to like come in here without L.A. because it was L.A. and Babyface. And although there were some things I may have done, separate, but still. So it became more of a thing. It I guess just commercially just sounded good, like Teddy Riley and Babyface. So it was like that. But LA was there the whole way, and it was fun because what's funny is the preparation for it
Yeah.
because you don't know, you know, what's he gonna play? And like I like a list of songs like, let me
I
see if
got
he
the
plays
same thing.
right and wrong. Okay, then I have my answer written down right here. And then he switch up. I said, oh no, what am I gonna do now? So it was like, and it became a thing. It just it the most important thing, you wanted it to feel good. You
Yeah.
know
Right.
what? So it wasn't so much about beating each other. That was part of the fun of it, but it was really about what's gonna feel good. And so every time he plays something, truly, I was like a fan. I was like, oh man, that's that one,
Same
and
here.
I wish I wrote, and uh, and I think I wrote it. I think he stole it from me actually. But,
I said the same thing about two occasions. When he brought that out first, I said, "Oh God, what? I done
You
started out wrong."
you know what I thought was amazing as well is when this was announced on Instagram. I remember thinking to myself, man, this is going to be so much fun for a generation. I won't lie, I took for granted how much your music, both of your music, has connected so many generations, because of sampling, because of remixes, because of the feeling. You've essentially imbued yourselves through multiple generations of cultures. I wonder if you yourselves were shocked to see not just how many people were consuming what you were doing, but the vast range of people that had been influenced by what you've created throughout your lives. Like Babyface, did you notice like how young some of the people were and just how the range it spanned across time?
I was shocked, but I'm always shocked. It's I think as a writer, as a producer writer, it's always a great feeling when you see people that like your music, if you see them singing and everything. But it's still when you know certain people come up to you and they say they know you or they say they know particular songs. It's like, how would you know? How could you
Right.
possibly know? From every age group and every ethnicity. So you don't know. And I think what happened there was that yeah, we were both blown away by the numbers, by who was trying to get in there. But I think what ultimately what it meant is that people this is a time where you need love and
Yeah.
you need to feel good, and feeling good music, whether you're grooving or whether you're in the bedroom, that's all about feel good at this particular point, and we all want that. So
Yeah.
It, what it was interesting is it felt like you were battling, but it had an element of battles that I guess maybe because battling and hip hop are synonymous, it didn't feel like the battles we know. It felt more like camaraderie. It was like, here's what I love that I created. Here's what I love that I created. Here's something that we feel shaped the culture. And Teddy, when I was watching you, there were truly moments of joy on your face when Babyface would play a song, and then there were moments of joy on his face when you would play a song. What was it like for you going down memory lane through everything you've created and through everything he created?
For me, I was singing all his songs. I was in the background, just there was I. I knew who I was with, my kid's mother at the same time, because we made Let's Chill, and I was trying to feed off of what he did to make the songs that I made. And that's how, Let's Chill came about, by the songs that I heard with the deal that was before me. And that was such a big influence. Like, Key Sweat reminded me, he said, man, you remember when we was in the studio doing Make It Last Forever, and we was listening to the whole Deal album, I swear to you. And He said, man, why you didn't say that? I said, man, I was in a moment. You gotta understand. I was up with Babyface. Like, that's huge for me. It's like working with Michael Jackson, and I have to say that with confidence, because it was like, when I was young, I wasn't doing music like he was. I was watching him. It's almost like when I went to the Apollo to see Michael Jackson for the Motown anniversary. And that's what I felt like, all the people he worked with. I used to say, dang, I wish I could work with them too, and my dreams came true.
That's amazing. Babyface, speaking of Michael Jackson, you have one of the best effortless Michael Jackson impersonations I've ever heard. And as we were going through the Instagram Live, you were telling these amazing stories that connected us to the music and the stories behind the music. You told the story of Michael Jackson and Madonna. Did you ever do your Michael Jackson impression for Michael Jackson? Did he ever see you do that?
Yes, I did. He said I sounded nothing like that. You don't sound nothing like me, Babyface. He refused to call me Kenny. I said, you can call me Kenny. No, I'm going to call you Babyface. That's the name. It should be that way. It's perfect. Stop laughing, Teddy. Teddy, stop laughing.
I used to try and impersonate him, but it's only when I'm trying to say what he's saying.
Yeah.
And I can only remember him saying, settle for nothing but great. And until you become great, the music is the star. Until that music becomes star, then you are.
Right.
Wow.
No, he had some statements, sure.
Yeah.
Did he ever hit you with, this is the one thing he, almost every time we sit with him, he go, Babyface, do you love music? I said, yeah.
Wow.
No. Do you love music?
Music, yes, he did.
Yes, and that was his thing, because he showed how he really loved it. It was in every inch of his body, and it was a religious experience.
Just by asking that question, asking that question, he loves music.
Yeah.
It felt like to me, what you're saying was a feeling we were all experiencing when watching this Instagram Live with the two of you. It was a feeling of love. It was a love not just for the music, but for the stories that have been created with and around the music. It was a love for each other as producers. It was a love for each other as creators. I wondered if you have ever done this before, where you've gone through your own catalog in front of people and seen the way they react to what you create. Because this was different to like a concert. This was different to a tribute. This was a very intimate experience where you yourself were saying, this is what I love of what I've done. This is a piece of me. And I'll start with you, Babyface, because a lot of people were intrigued by the songs you chose. Some people thought you would choose some of your more #1 hits. Some people thought you would go with, some of the more, mainstream songs. But you went with songs that were deep cuts. Is there a reason you chose what you did? And what did it feel like to go through that journey with everyone?
Well, a lot of the choices were made based off of what Teddy would play. And I sat with LA, and we were going over everything, trying to figure out what's he gonna play, how's he gonna play it, and and then we had to, be conservative because at the same time, because I know he's coming with the bangers towards the end. The last rounds, he's gonna come and he's gonna start slapping me, and I didn't know if I was gonna make it through it. So, you know, so I was. The only thing that we could do is to think it's not whether it's a top 10 or whether it's a number one hit. Does it feel good? Does it talk to your heart?
Yeah.
That's all you can go with, and hope that you're right, and that's the best you can do.
And Teddy, on your side, what was that like, going through your catalog, going through that experience with one of your icons and your friends, as and playing it for everybody, choosing your own music?
Well, the same. That's why, I asked Swiss, can we do it this way where he goes, I go first, and he go first, second 10, and that will give me a chance to, it's like the NFL, give me a chance to come back, because people were like, and I was like, I gotta stop looking at the phone. It's like you're down one. I was like, you're down one. Okay, make it last forever. And it worked, but I think it was a good, that's why I kind of wanted to go off of him, because I wanted people to feel the experience. So I kept playing the slow songs until I ran out, until my mind ran out. I didn't run out of slow songs. I couldn't choose from this list fast enough. So that's how I went into deep. And I was like, somebody said wrong choice. So it was based off of what he played, but when it was the time, I said, Dag, I haven't gotten into No Diggity. I haven't gotten into, Remember the Time, and a few songs. They were like, Dag, he had so much more to play.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're in that moment, you
Right.
forget.
There were a few fun moments with the Instagram live itself. Obviously, the first one had technical difficulties. The second one, you're doing something that Instagram live wasn't really designed for. You're trying to get the music right. You're trying to get your sound right. Teddy, people were having fun talking about how you should or shouldn't do what you're doing online. Babyface, people were impressed at your technical ability. Everyone was just like, man, this guy's not online that much, but he seems like he knows everything about everything. You were giving Teddy technical advice. Have you learned anything new, the two of you, from what you've done? Do you think you're going to be online more or less?
I don't know. I'm just rolling with the wave, That's what I feel like we both are doing, because this is
Yeah.
something new to us.
Yes.
We're technical guys for sure.
Right.
But with Instagram, it's like another world, because you're talking about 15 to maybe 35, are on there. So we're kind of
Yeah.
past that. And, coming on, people appreciate us being on.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate it, man. Everything that we get come our way, I'm so appreciative.
I'm with you. I think, what did I pick up anything new technical? Well, I better, because I'm gonna look pretty stupid if I don't. But so but I think that ultimately what came out of this is that, we it's so cool when you think about it that Teddy and I, we made history.
Yeah.
On a time when people were needing music and needing love, we were able to deliver that. And there were so many people starving for it that, we couldn't get it to all of them. And that's an amazing thing. That's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens, we can walk away, together, and look at what we did, Teddy.
Yeah.
That's an amazing thing. So I'm very happy about that. Very proud of Teddy. And while I'm here, let me say that I've said it before, but I really look at Teddy as one of the greatest producers of all time. He came with New Jack Swing, and he changed the game. He was a pioneer in those early days. He came so hard, and it did shake us when we saw, oh God, what's that? How are we going to do that? I can't do that. So I'm just going to do this, because there was no competing with what he did. So you just had to be, ultimately you learned out you had to be yourself, and hopefully that worked. But Teddy, kudos to you for having such an amazing career, and just being the producer and writer that you've been. I'm very proud of you.
Well, thank you so much. I have to say my piece, especially with, see, you guys didn't know when I left Gene, I wanted to get down with Babyface in LA. There was no way I could have gotten to them. The only person that I had a number on was Quincy, and he introduced me to Clarence Avon. And when
Yeah,
he introduced me to Clarence Avon, I said, "Oh, I'm getting close to Babyface in LA. Maybe we can work together, or I can work under them." So that tells you right there the respect that I have for them. And they had Lil Face. I said, "Nah, maybe I can get signed to Lil Face."
I wish we had known.
Yeah, I didn't know any executives. I didn't know anyone after leaving, us departing. I just knew what I had in my phone, and it was Quincy, and he said, "I'm going to send you to Clarence Avon's house." And that's how, it was just like a dream to me. I said, "Damn, I'm gonna get close to those guys, and I'm gonna get close to
Wow.
Jam and Terry Lewis because he was a part of their lives too." So that's my respect, and I always say, man, you guys are amazing. When you guys kind of just when he went to the record labels and you stayed right, and I said, "Dad, maybe I could play LA, and work with work with Babyface." I just had so many things in my head that was a dream to me. And finally a dream came true. We worked on Bobby Brown together.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that was great in itself just to work together, and as LA was he was producing that with me, and that stuff was great. And with LA, it's so cool because LA ended up moving on to become like one of the greatest executives.
Yes.
He's so underappreciated for what he actually did, from going to LaFace to Arista to Def Jam to Sony and all the artists that he found, from Rihanna to Justin Bieber to bringing back Mariah Carey. There's so many things that he did that as an executive, he went out and just kicked butt again beyond. So we can all be proud of what we've done and what we've accomplished, and the fact that we all are here today because of each other.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's it.
that's it's an amazing way to put it. And honestly, the one thing I can say I appreciated and I was reminded of was just gratitude. I think the one thing that struck me was not just the amount that you've given, but the way it feels like you have enjoyed everything you've received. So thank you to both of you. I honestly hope you appreciate what you did for everybody. It was one of the most amazing experiences that I think a group of people have had together on the internet for a really long time. And I hope it's not the last battle, because I know there's still a lot of songs in that catalog. So Babyface, Teddy Riley, thank you so much for your time today, and
Thank
have a
you.
good one.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you,
us.
guys.